There was a young man named Ryan, full of dreams but empty of action. Every morning he promised himself, "Today I'll change my life." But by noon he was scrolling his phone again. His notebooks were full of plans, his walls covered with goals, yet nothing ever moved. He watched his friends move forward while he stood still, trapped in comfort and guilt. Deep down, Ryan wasn't lazy because he didn't care he was lazy, because he feared failure. The thought of starting and failing scared him more than doing nothing. Still, every night he felt that sharp pain of regret whispering, "You wasted another day." But one morning, something happened. Something that would finally break the chains holding him down and change his life forever. Ryan's days all looked the same. He would wake up late, scroll through videos about success and feel inspired for a few minutes. Then instead of taking action, he would tell himself, "I'll start tomorrow." But tomorrow never came. His dreams began to fade like dust on an old book, untouched and forgotten. He wanted to start exercising, learn new skills, and build a better life. Yet every time he tried, his energy disappeared within minutes. He blamed the weather, his mood, and sometimes even fate. Deep inside, he knew the truth. It wasn't the world stopping him. It was him stopping himself. Days turned into months. His motivation became weaker, his confidence smaller. When friends talked about progress, he laughed on the outside but felt empty inside. One evening, he saw a childhood friend on TV receiving an award, a dream they once shared together. That moment hit him like lightning. Ryan realized he had wasted years waiting for the right time. That night, he couldn't sleep. Something inside whispered, "If I don't change now, I never will." And the very next morning, his journey toward transformation truly began. The next morning, Ryan felt something different, a strange mix of fear and determination. He decided to take a walk to clear his mind. As he wandered through the park, he saw an old man sitting quietly on a bench feeding birds. There was something peaceful about him, the kind of calm Ryan had never felt. Without thinking, Ryan sat beside him. After a few moments of silence, the old man looked at him and said softly, "Son, your eyes look heavy. What's troubling you?" Ryan sighed. "I'm stuck. I want to do so many things, but I keep delaying. I feel like I've lost control of my own life." The old man smiled. "Then maybe you're carrying something heavier than laziness. Maybe you're carrying fear." Ryan frowned. "Fear? Yes," the man said. "Laziness is never the problem. It's the excuse your mind creates when it's afraid to fail. You wait for motivation, but motivation comes only after action." He then pointed at a group of ants near their feet. "Look at them. They don't wait for perfect weather or the right time. They just move, one step at a time." Ryan watched the tiny ants and felt something stir inside him, a realization slowly forming. The old man stood up and said, "Come back tomorrow. I'll give you a task that will change your life." The next morning, Ryan returned to the park, curious and nervous. The old man was already there, waiting with a calm smile. In his hand, he held a small bucket filled with water. He handed it to Ryan and said, "Walk once around the park without spilling a single drop." Ryan was confused but didn't ask questions. He held the bucket carefully and began walking. Children were playing, dogs were barking, and cyclists rushed past him, but Ryan didn't look anywhere else. His focus stayed only on the bucket. Slowly, step by step, he made it back without spilling a drop. The old man asked, "While you were walking, did you notice the birds or the laughter of the children?" Ryan shook his head. "No, I was only focused on not spilling the water." The old man smiled gently. "That's the lesson. When you focus on one thing fully, laziness disappears. Your mind becomes sharp. Your body moves naturally and energy flows." Ryan stood quietly, realizing what he meant. He had spent years thinking about everything, dreams, fears, and failures, but never focused on one task at a time. The old man continued, "Your mind isn't lazy, Ryan. It's just distracted. Learn to control your focus and action will follow." That moment, Ryan felt as if a heavy fog had lifted. For the first time in years, he truly understood what had been holding him back. That night, Ryan couldn't stop thinking about the old man's words. Your mind isn't lazy, it's just distracted. For years, he had been waiting for motivation. But now he understood that motivation was something created through movement, not waiting. The next morning, he woke up early for the first time in months. He didn't feel ready, but he got out of bed anyway. He made his bed, drank water, and took a short walk. It was simple, but it felt like a victory. Every day, he added one smaller task: reading for 10 minutes, exercising for 15, writing down goals for the day. Slowly, his routine became stronger. Some days he didn't feel like doing anything, but he remembered the ants and whispered to himself, just one step. When his old habits tried to return, he no longer gave them power. He didn't argue with his excuses, he just acted before his mind could resist. Weeks passed. Ryan began to feel lighter and more confident. He started finishing things he once abandoned halfway. The satisfaction of progress became his new source of energy. One evening, while working on a project, he realized something. Discipline was easier than regret. It was hard to wake up early or work when tired, but it was far more painful to live with guilt and wasted time. He remembered the old man's calm voice, "Motivation comes after action." And now, he finally understood it. Each small action was like lighting a spark, and those sparks were slowly turning into a burning fire of self-belief. Ryan was no longer waiting for the perfect day to begin. He was already living it, one action at a time. A few weeks later, Ryan returned to the same park. The sun was setting, and the sky was painted with soft orange light. He found the old man sitting on the same bench, feeding the birds just like before. Ryan smiled and said, "You were right. Laziness wasn't my problem, distraction was. Once I started focusing on doing, everything changed." The old man nodded with a gentle smile. "Remember, Ryan, most people wait for motivation to arrive like rain. But real change begins when you start walking even under the sun. Motivation grows inside those who move, not those who wait." He continued, "The secret is simple: stop asking for the strength to begin. Begin, and the strength will find you." Ryan sat quietly, feeling the truth of those words. He realized that every successful person had faced the same struggle, the same moments of doubt and delay. The difference was they acted even when they didn't feel ready. The old man stood up and said, "The battle was never with laziness, Ryan. It was with the excuses that lived in your mind." Those words stayed in Ryan's heart forever. From that day on, he promised himself that no matter how small the step, he would keep moving forward. Because progress, no matter how slow, is always better than standing still. From that day forward, Ryan was no longer the same person. He didn't wait for the right mood, the right time, or the right chance. He simply started. His mornings were no longer battles. They were beginnings. Each action, no matter how small, built a stronger version of himself. He often remembered the old man's voice, "Begin, and the strength will find you." So, if you ever feel lazy, remember Ryan's story. Start with one small step today, and if this story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Until next time, stay strong, stay moving.